Steven Crowder gets banned from YouTube. San Diego teachers are teaching in person to migrant children. And I got a ton of Star Wars news, and I have a lot to say about that. Before we get into our lead story, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It does help me in getting my videos out there to viewers who have not seen my videos or have not seen my channel. And also, please don't forget to hit that bell notification button so you are notified every time we go live or upload a video, which is Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our lead story of the day is regarding Steven Crowder being banned on YouTube. This comes from our friends over at the Daily Wire. And as always, if you're not a subscriber, please go over and become a member today. It is written by Tim Pierce, and he titles it, Steven Crowder's YouTube account locked, demonetized. Crowder hints action. We've got something for them. He starts off by saying YouTube has demonetized and locked conservative commentator Steven Crowder's account for allegedly violating the platform's community guidelines. Of course, I'm sure that they found some little small thing the guy did and wanted to hit him upside the head because they're constantly watching conservatives like a hawk to find anything, possibly anything they could find on them to deplatform them or to ban them or demonetize them. They're going to find anything. Whereas the left, they're going to let them roam free. Post whatever you want. Death to America, whatever it may be, they're cool with it. But anything a conservative writes that's not even remotely offensive or did anything wrong, they're just going to deplatform them. It goes on to say YouTube blocked Crowder from uploading new content to his channel for 1 week and pulled one of his videos that the platform said violated its rules against spreading misinformation about the 2020 election. YouTube also booted Crowder from its YouTube Partner program, which allows creators to run ads as videos and turn a profit indefinitely. In order to monetize on YouTube, channels must comply with the YouTube Partner guidelines. Again, I've talked about this. I'm monetized in a whole nother realm of I guess, subject matter in YouTube. It's not political in nature. It's nothing like that. I'm not even in front of the camera. But that's monetized, and they are very strict on their guidelines. And I'll get into a little bit of how I am being censored in a way regarding the AdSense or regarding YouTube policies. I'll speak on that a little bit because I have people in the comments just claiming stuff that isn't true. It says channels that repeatedly violate our policies are suspended from the partner program. In addition, we removed a video from Steven Crowder's channel for violating our presidential election integrity policy. You gotta love that, right? Integrity. You talk anything about the election, and YouTube's gonna hit you upside the head for it. Just even talking about something that's actually factual, they will still hit you upside the head for it. So, YouTube, the big tech is always on Biden's side, always on the Democrat side, never on the conservative. Applied a strike, meaning uploads are suspended for 1 week. Crowder first announced YouTube against him in a Monday Instagram post, accusing the platform of manipulating its community guidelines to target conservative, which is what I just said. He also teased having something for them in response to his ban. And he has a half Asian lawyer, Bill Richmond, I'm sure is on it. That guy is amazing, also hilarious. So, if you're not a member of the Mug Club, this is the reason why you should become a member of the Daily Wire, of the Mug Club. Subscribe to channels like mine so we can get out there and maybe create our own site like the Daily Wire or Mug Club, Louder with Crowder, or Blaze, so that conservatives, we can find another outlet than YouTube sooner or later. I mean, there is Rumble, but YouTube is still the place that people congregate. It's the best place still to get your viewpoint out there, even though stuff like this is happening. But if you've seen Crowder's stuff regarding the election, nothing in there is violating, at least from what I've seen and heard, and I listen to him almost every day, nothing that I've seen or heard is showing him violating the integrity of the election. All he did was in Nevada, he looked at the registration voter rolls, looked at the addresses. This is all public information. He took his employees, his intern, and I think a couple other guys, out to some locations and said, hey, hold up a newspaper of that day and show the location of the address that's on the voter registration roll that this person supposedly utilized to be able to vote. And the place doesn't even exist. Some places are just empty lots or under a freeway pass. Like, these places aren't legit or legitimate. That's all he was doing, and saying, look, what's here is not here. And it's verifiable proof. And for some reason, YouTube says that's going against its integrity of the election. I don't know how you can't get any more integrity than that of actually proving that what is being utilized in Nevada is a bunch of BS. And nobody's saying that that swung the election. Even Crowder came out today and talked about it. He said, I'm not saying that swung the election. I never have. But that doesn't mean that there aren't some issues happening within this voter registration or how people are voting. Those voters should not be counted. And even if they're Trump voters, they should not be counted. The whole problem is just not being able to fix it and get your voice out there on things that need to be fixed. So if you're not able to get the voice out there, then how the hell can you fix it? And it just shows Democrats don't want to fix it. And that's a scary thing when you're not willing to at least listen or at least look at these registration voter rolls and say, look, there's some discrepancies in here. We need to at least create a task force that's going to go out and fix these things so that our election has integrity. This isn't creating integrity. This is just creating problems that YouTube's doing by banning people like Steven Crowder that are doing investigative journalism. And this is the part that's actually getting really scary, is when you have people that are willing to do investigative journalism that are being deplatformed for it. How can people get the truth out there if there is little bits of truth? Again, nobody's saying it swung the election. At least I'm not. Crowder's not. Ben Shapiro's not. The Daily Wire's not. But you should be able to at least post on this stuff. It's nuts. And there's a poll out that says here, and it's from the Daily Wire, that 64% of Americans see cancel culture as a threat to their freedom. Yeah, it's a threat to your freedom because you're canceling, you're silencing, you're getting rid of that First Amendment. And while this is happening, while they're trying to go after that First Amendment, they're also trying to go after that Second Amendment. And that's why my logo has the eagle with a microphone and a gun, because if you lose that Second Amendment, you're going to lose that First Amendment as well. And they're targeting both at the same time. So it says here, a poll was released by The Hill on Monday, and it showed that 64% of Americans believe that cancel culture is a threat to their freedom. The information comes from a Harvard Caps Harris poll survey released exclusively to The Hill, showing that 64% of the respondents to the survey stated that there is a growing cancel culture that is a threat to their freedom, while 36% said they did not view it as a threat to their freedom. Gee, I wonder who responded to that one. The poll also showed that 36% of the respondents said that cancel culture is a big problem. 32% said it was a moderate problem, and 20% said it was a small problem. 13% said it's not a problem at all. We have Merriam-Webster. This is how they define cancel culture: as the practice or tendency of engaging in mass canceling as a way of expressing disapproval and exerting social pressure. And that's just lovely. So now kids are going to look this up, and that's probably why the stats are the way they are, because people are like, I don't even know what cancel culture means. Let me look this up in Webster Dictionary. And that's what they're getting. But they don't understand that that small level of canceling, such as Steven Crowder or what they're doing with Dr. Seuss, Gina Carano, etc., is that has the potential of getting really big. And I'm very careful with utilizing that word of it has the potential. But when you're dealing with free speech, I'm still waking up. Vegas, right? Vegas. When you're dealing with free speech, and especially like the Second Amendment, it's not about canceling it outright then and there. It's about you constantly crossing that line and at one day possibly actually being at that finish line of canceling the First Amendment as well as the Second Amendment. We don't even want you touching it. We don't want you even poking around with it. Just leave it alone. And this is what scares people, because we're kind of the last country really to hold these values. And now you have people within our own country, Americans, that are pushing this stuff. And it does get scary because it makes you wonder, when is your last day? When's my last day on here? When's Crowder's last day? When's, Ben Shapiro? I mean, the man can leave YouTube. He doesn't have to be on there, but he's making buku bucks. But the whole point is that we're constantly being targeted, and you're not seeing the same thing on the left. You're not seeing them being targeted. You're not seeing them be bothered by YouTube. And it's just annoying, or at least not on the mass scale, right? Because you always speak of in generals, like, oh, you don't see the left being targeted, and the left goes, oh, look at this person's being targeted over here. It's like, but the vast majority of conservatives are being targeted, whereas, yeah, you're talking about an outlier. One of you like really slipped up by maybe cutting off Trump's head and posting it all over social media. Mind you, I don't think Kathy Griffith back in the day should have been deplatformed or lost sponsors or anything. She's being vocal about what she thinks, and she crossed the line as a comedian. Was it weird? Yeah, it was weird, but nobody thinks on the at least right that she should have been canceled. But you just constantly have it. And at least it's nice to know that 64% of Americans at least see cancel culture as some sort of problem that's happening in America rather than no problem at all. But that, I don't know if that's going to change anything. The left doesn't care. And the hope is that Americans wake up and they start pushing back against this stuff and start supporting the people that are being canceled, just as Ben Shapiro stepped up and supported Gina Carano that was ultimately let go from Lucasfilm and Star Wars because of her conservative values. And she was outspoken about that on the Sunday special. But you had people like Ben Shapiro that stood up and hired her on to adopt her own film, produce her own film along with the Daily Wire. And we need Americans like that. And again, the hope is that even if you don't watch my show every day, that you still subscribe and you like to it, even if you don't watch the whole thing and share it on your social media, just so these conservative values can be pushed out there so that other people can see it. And I might say something that's different than Ben Shapiro, but it's along the same spectrum. I might say the same thing as Steven Crowder, because we're all in the same news area. We're all watching the same stuff, and so we're all pushing the same stuff. But it's still important to support everybody. Again, I watch Steven Crowder every day. I watch the Hodge twins every day. I watch Andrew Klavan, Ben Shapiro, Glenn Beck. I watch all these people throughout the day, and maybe I'm missing little bits and pieces of what they're doing, but I'm still supporting them because I think it's that important to where the conservatives can get their viewpoint out there to everyone else. Now, there's other news that we have the San Diego teachers to provide in-person classes to migrant kids as many local schools remain closed. This is coming from Blaze Media. It's coming from Breck Dumas, which is crazy, right? Because why would you not try and take care of your own children first before taking care of those that don't even belong here? I know that sounds rough in that statement because they're children at the end of the day, or I should say they're still children at the end of the day, and that we should try and help them, but you should help your own people first before you help them. But it says here, the San Diego County Board of Education has agreed to send teachers to provide in-person instruction for the hundreds of teen migrant girls being housed at the San Diego Convention Center, while many of the schools in the district remain closed to in-class learning. One county supervisor said of the move, "I wish every child in San Diego County was allowed the same opportunity." Yeah. The Los Angeles Times reported that over the weekend, the first 500 migrant girls between the ages of 13 and 17 have arrived at the convention center for shelter from Texas and Arizona, part of the overwhelming wave of unaccompanied children that have arrived in the U.S. as its southern border since President Joe Biden took office. Remember, they're calling him migrant president. This dude doesn't have a clue what's going on. He puts Harris as the person that's going to lead all this stuff, and she laughs about it. Why would you take anybody serious that when a reporter goes, "Hey, are you planning on going to the U.S.-Mexico border?" Me? With her Joker laugh. I'm too tired to even replicate it, but why would you put that person? That's so odd. She's terrible at everything. The government's terrible at everything. And now, look at them. Now they're sitting there putting teachers for in-person instruction and not even teaching our own kids. How the hell does that make sense? I'm an educator. I'm a teacher. I've been in the classroom since August. There were little stints of maybe like 1 or 2 weeks that we would go remote. One of it was even due to a fire, or the kids were like, "Oh, my house is on fire," and everyone's like, "Oh crap, we gotta like just get them home." Blah blah, all this other stuff. That's beside the point. What I'm saying here is, this is bull crap. Teachers should be in the classroom teaching kids. If you're young and healthy like me, you should be in the classroom teaching these kids. What I'm seeing, and I'm a mathematics teacher, these kids are struggling. This problem is going to last 10 years, folks. The missing gaps of knowledge that these students are going to acquire from not being in the classroom is going to be massive. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a restructuring of mathematics and maybe the STEM fields because of just the gaps these students are missing in their understanding of science, math, engineering, whatever it is. It's going to be bad. But you're going to sit here and teach these migrant children and not teach your own kids? Like, that's ass backwards. But that's the Democrats' thinking. It's always backwards. It doesn't make sense, right? Oh, we're not going to call it a border crisis. We're going to call it a problem. Well, how the hell does that fix anything? Hey, we're going to call in FEMA that only deals with emergencies, hence the E in FEMA. But we're not going to call it an emergency. We're not going to call it a crisis. They don't take this stuff seriously. They just want the vote because they know that if these people get in, they're going to end up voting Democrat because Biden is the migrant president for these people. Hey, look, now he's feeding our children that we sent there, free education, free legal fees. Everything's being handed to them, and that's what the left wants. The left wants a bunch of free stuff, and they claim that they care, but in reality they don't. They want all these people to receive amnesty. Everybody else waiting in line, y'all got screwed. But, the conservatives, we're bad people, right? We're bad people for following the rules. We created a law, regulations that is built so that people can come into our country at a specific rate so they can assimilate into our country properly and be successful and drive and work hard for that American dream, where you got other people that just want to cut the line and basically be jerks. And again, I keep emphasizing it's understandable that you're trying to give yourself a better life by coming to this country, but there's still a way to do it. And it's easier for me to say that because again, I'm here in the greatest country that God's ever had or built. And it's still not right for you to do that. And it's definitely not right for you to send your child here unaccompanied, cross miles and miles of desert, some of them dying. I can't, it's unfathomable that people would do that. It's crazy. And when I was just in Vegas this last week, and hence why I'm so tired still, I'm really out of shape. But I have friends that I was there with that have really close friends on the border, and the stories I am hearing are outrageous. From like people being pregnant, head popped out, hop over the US-Mexico border, throw down a towel, have their baby, and their baby is an American citizen. I don't even know who created that whole thing of like, oh, well, if you're born over here, you're automatically a citizen. I think it's a little bit strange. I think we're the only country that does that, or at least one of the handful. Doesn't make sense to me, but they're having like 6,000 people show up a day. You should have saw, I had personalized videos sent to me of this stuff, and it's bad. It's real bad. It's not like, it's one of those things when you hear like, oh, like 6,000 people. When you see 6,000 people standing together, it's not a caravan, man. That's a massive migration issue that's going on at the US-Mexico border. And I already thought it was bad. You guys seen my videos. I've talked about it. I've already said this is terrible. But it made it that much more realistic when you're seeing these people. You're seeing Border Patrol sending you videos. And I'm not obviously going to show them on here. I don't even think I'm allowed to. But it's bad, man. It's real bad. But, that's the way Democrats handle things. Really shitty. As well as the government just in general handles things bad. But there you have it. You have, not only do you have Steven Crowder being censored or deplatformed for a week off of YouTube, but now you also have the teachers in San Diego teaching migrant children, not teaching their own damn kids, which really makes sense. And, to go back on the whole Crowder thing, just to revisit, there was people in my comments going, oh, well, you were saying for your first few videos that you were being censored by YouTube and Google and they weren't letting you run ads, but I saw your ad, so I clicked on your video. Well, yeah, man, clearly I worked with YouTube to figure it out, but that wasn't the whole point. The whole point was they were censoring me for weeks on end. They were flagging my ads for election issues. Never talked about the election. The word election never comes up. Matter of fact, unbeknownst to all of you guys, I've tried to run 6 different ads. 6. And every single one of them gets automatically flagged for election and sensitivity events. I have the receipts to prove it. I have the receipts to show you that I appeal these ads every single day, multiple times a day. And what I have to do is I have to go through Google, talk to a customer service rep through Google AdSense or Google Ads. From there, I have to appeal it twice, and then they send it up through the ranks, and that takes weeks on end to get figured out. It's not a little thing. Whereas my other channel that I have that's monetized never had this issue whatsoever. It's only started when I started this conservative show, The Bald Brad Show, that all of a sudden I'm getting hit and messed with. I'll give you another example. I think it was episode 23 or episode 24. I put in an ad and I had to go through the same process. I got hit with election fraud. It was like, oh, you can't put this ad in like 244 countries. I got hit with sensitive events. Again, I got the receipts to prove it, folks. If you want me to throw up a thing, let me know in the comments. I will show you. The whole thing is that they actually approved it, and I was getting a lot of views and subs from that ad. Finally, it was getting out there to a lot of people across the world. And then, 24 hours later, they disapproved it again and hit me again with election stuff as well as sensitivity events. Never gave me a reason. So it was good enough for 24 hours after I went through that hassle with you. But then 24 hours later, all of a sudden it's not. And get this, right when that happened, you can't contact them because of COVID. They're only allowing certain types of contact with them. So I don't have any proof, but it's a little odd that you're going to approve it. And then right when you knew that you're going to go out because of COVID, all of a sudden this happened this week, that I can't get a hold of you, so I can't run the ad anymore. Whereas that ad would have just been running free for forever. But it's a little weird. Again, big tech, they screw with us. You guys just don't hear about it. But again, for me being censored, that is a portion of being censored. I'm not able to get my ads out there to everybody else. I mean, each video gets 25, 45 views if I'm lucky, which is great. I love all my viewers. I love everybody that subscribes. But the point is that you're blocking me, or should I say YouTube's blocking me from getting my videos out there for everybody else to see. And it's frustrating as hell. And I told the guy, he goes, oh, well, just appeal it. Yes, but man, I'm telling you, this happens every time. The word election doesn't pop out in my mouth in that video. Why would it get hit automatically every single time I want to run an ad on a video? And you're saying this stuff happens when it doesn't meet any of your guidelines. And he goes, oh, well, I have to follow policy. So you're just flagging us willy-nilly without any proof. And then we have to wait 2 weeks. The ad might not even be relevant then. That show might not be relevant. And it's really frustrating. So, and it's just stupid because you got people on here, oh, I looked at your ad, and clearly you're not being censored. Like, yeah, whatever, man. You clearly have it all together. But this stuff does happen. You guys just don't see it. And they're not like 5-minute conversations you're having with Google. There's sometimes an hour and a half conversations I'm having with them, trying to get it cleared up and trying to get them to see, yo, you're messing with me. And you have to be polite, overly polite, because you just want to get your video out there. Again, it's just frustrating at the end of the day. I don't have a lawyer like Steven Crowder does. I don't have all that. So I have to, basically treat it like I am just a customer. Have to be overly nice to get this stuff fixed. But it's BS, man. And it's definitely happening to conservatives. Even small channels like mine literally don't even have really any subscribers. And they're already targeting me. Again, it's automatically flagged. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because my channel can grow faster if they would just let me run ads. You know what I mean? And it's frustrating that it can't grow faster because clearly people like it. From that one ad, I think in less than 24 hours, it jumped up like 40 subscribers or something like that in less than 24 hours, which is a lot for a new channel. And, you want to grow because you want to get monetized, because who knows when I'm going to say something stupid on here and apologize for it. And then I get demonetized or whatever. And then I got no money. I got no job. And, I get deplatformed. So it's all a racing game, but the hope is that we can continue to get our voice out there so everybody has an opportunity to hear the conservative ideology. But with that being said, our last news story of the day is regarding Star Wars. There's actually 2 different bits to it. The first one is Obi-Wan Kenobi series unveils absolutely stacked main cast. I don't know about you. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I've talked about Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm, Gina Carano, Rosario Dawson from Ahsoka Tano possibly being targeted by the left. So if you want to see those videos, they're in my catalog for my episodes. But I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I read the books. I just bought the High Republic series. I'm kind of worried about that because supposedly they put in a lot of LGBTQ stuff. But the cast here, and I'll put it on the screen, the cast of Obi-Wan is just stellar. Whether you agree with people's political viewpoints, this show is going to be awesome. And I can't wait to see Darth Vader. I can't wait to see Obi-Wan. And I can't wait to see where the story goes. I've heard a rumor, and let me know if you guys know about this. I've heard a rumor that this is just going to be kind of a one-off thing. I'm not sure. But it says here that they begin production in April. It's one of 10 new Star Wars spin-offs. And they're doing something right. I'm telling you. They're giving us what they want. But the problem is that is it going to be right? Are they going to have the right people doing it? And so you have Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni that are doing The Mandalorian. And it seems like what they're doing is they're taking those directors and having them basically direct these series. And you have one of the directors from The Mandalorian that's going to end up doing the Obi-Wan Kenobi series as well. I forget what episode she did in The Mandalorian for season 1 and season 2. But I have high hopes for it. It's going to be great seeing Hayden Christensen back. But With that great news comes bad news. And this is just a rumor. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be true. At least I hope not. I'm impartial about it, but the news is Brie Larson rumored to play a Jedi more powerful than Vader in new Star Wars show. And I haven't even read this article. I just saw the title of it and wanted to kind of do a reaction to it. But you can't but help think that Kathleen Kennedy had her hand in this. It's just constant. Like, I don't have a problem with there being women Jedi. Obviously, Ahsoka Tano or Rosario Dawson's there. But it's odd to me that it's like that's the first big Jedi that you're going to come out with. It doesn't really make sense. You had Rey. That didn't work. And now you're going to push this. And it's Brie Larson, right? Like, I like her in Captain Marvel. I like her as an actress, to be quite honest, but I don't like her political views. And it's because she was outspoken about her political views that I'm like, are you just choosing her to do this because she doesn't like white men and she thinks that white men are racist and all this other stuff? I don't know. But it kind of rubs me the wrong way. But it says, at this stage, nobody's going to be surprised if Brie Larson shows up in a future Star Wars movie or TV series. After all, the actress has hardly been shy when it comes to admitting her lifelong love of the franchise, and she even unsuccessfully auditioned for the Star Wars Awakens before she was an Academy Award winner and a star of a billion-dollar comic book blockbuster. The 31-year-old has already been linked with a multitude of projects, including the mystery film in the works for her Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige, while there's also near constant talk that she's high on Disney's list of candidates when it comes to casting the next major lead for a galaxy far, far away. So far, nothing has been confirmed just yet, but a recent rumor has claimed that the Captain Marvel star will play a Jedi named Maeve, I believe, in a Star Wars series set in a brand new timeline that would see her character established as being more powerful than Darth Vader and Rey combined. Like, that says it all there. Like, come on, like, what are you doing? What? I mean, there has to be people powerful out there. I get that you need to move the Star Wars story line along, but there is so much to be told with Darth Vader and even within that timeline. And you don't have to go outside of that to make the Star Wars fans happy. You really don't. And it's just kind of sad that they're pushing this narrative of LGBTQ, women leading. And again, there's not a problem with the women leading. It's just you're shoving it down our throats. It's self-evident, and that's why you picked Brie Larson. But it says here, finishing off, we certainly advise taking this with a grain of salt but Zorro has gotten a couple of scoops right in the past, and the more we hear about Brie Larson's affinity for Star Wars, the more it feels like she's destined to play a role in the beloved sci-fi universe one day and not a distant future. So again, I like her as an actress. I really actually enjoy her playing Captain Marvel. I'm not a big fan of her political views, but that doesn't mean I can't like you as an actress or an actor. I can have the cognitive wherewithal to separate the two. It's just, I wish she never came out and went crazy about the whole, social justice, everything that the left pushes, because it created a certain viewpoint in my mind with her. And now this is coming up where if she never said that stuff, I'd be super stoked about it. I'd be like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I'm happy for you. And I'm a little taken back about the whole more powerful than Darth Vader and Rey combined. That's a little odd to me, but it's a rumor. I personally don't see it happening. She's already in one franchise. She should stay there. Don't dip your hand in Star Wars. That's great that you're a Star Wars fan, but we need to figure this out. Or should I say Lucasfilm needs to figure this out. And I just can't help but think Kathleen Kennedy dipped her hand in this. And that's why we, as Star Wars fans, want her to step aside. And I've talked about this at length, that she should not be involved in Star Wars, but go off and work on those other franchises like Indiana Jones or whatever Lucasfilm or Disney is producing. She is a good producer. She's just really bad at her job when it comes to Star Wars. People say, oh, well, she's a great producer and she can help produce Star Wars. No, she can't, because she's putting her creative talent in Star Wars and it's screwing everything up. Where she just took a step back, everything would be fine. But I would be shocked if she wasn't the one that's kind of pushing forward this Brie Larson stuff and having Brie Larson rumored to play the Jedi that's more powerful than Darth Vader, because that makes zero sense. But with that being said, that is all the news I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Send it to your friends and family on social media. I'm going to try and do more than more kind of no snippets in between. Normally I record like different segments at a time, but I want to get used to doing a show without cutting out my mistakes or things like that. I want to try and push myself to create a better product for you all and be able to do lengthier shows over time without kind of cutting it up. And it also helps with editing. Again, forgive me for being so tired and bearing with me. I am still recuperating from the weekend. I wasn't out drinking and all that stuff, guys. Again, I'm a referee, but things have been closed down for a year. And so it really does, when you're skating up and down the ice for hours on end. For example, Friday, I have 3 games in a row, hour and a half each, and you're skating up and down the ice for an hour and a half each time. You know, that's 4.5 hours, guys. So obviously it's going to take a toll on your body, and then you got to go to work the next day. You got to prepare this. I edit it myself. There's no crew. It's just me. Not that anybody would think that there's a crew. But, you know, I love doing this, and I love hearing from all of you. There's regulars in the comments. I love talking to you guys. Thank you so much for always leaving me a comment and being so kind to me. It is greatly appreciated. And I hope that I get better at this show, and I hope this show is what you look forward to some days to listen to. Have a cup of coffee or a beer or whatever it is, and listen to me rant and go on and sometimes not make any sense. All jokes aside, thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show.